So whatever you are, you just take a look. This is totally new for you. You will be doing it in the later phase of the if you are learning, but for now just take a look here. Let me see what is my recording. Yeah, it is being recorded now. I'm going to start a new script. And I'll give a name, let's say TC002 and manual correlation, and let's say version 001. Okay, now we are going to record on this web tour application that comes with. We are going to record with this web tour application that comes with HP. So if you come here, all programs, and then in all programs you will see there is a folder called HP software, and inside HP software HP LoadRunner, and in samples can you see I have already started the web server. Now I am going to start the application itself, so that application will not run without that web server. So I am going to record on this application here. I am waiting for that application to appear. Now you can see, so this let me close this virtual machine because it is probably taking my space. Now we are going to record in this application. The purpose of opening this application to get the URL. So I'm copying the URL, and after that I can close it or I can keep it. So I closed it. I closed this browser, and after that let me go to my script. Now here in recording options, the first couple of things that we do in the recording options are, I'm going to show you. I know you know it, but I'm still going to revise it. I'm not sure, my computer is still slow. So the first couple of things that we do, we select this to radio button. Yeah. And for code generation, again, it for now it is not matter. I'll keep it as it is. And configuration, I will keep it. It will not, configuration, like when you do automatic correlation, we are asking it to use this web save param ex statement. And then if you come here, we are asking it to generate web find function, but I'm going to keep it empty right now. Okay, and then if you come here, my computer is pretty slow here. Now I'm going to click on record, and here I'm going to record on that application. I'm bringing the URL here. So now you know that why I open this application before I do record, right? So I wanted to copy that URL, and now I'm going to close that. And before I start recording here, I'm going to start feedback. So the purpose of bringing Fiddler, there is a reason. I will tell you that reason. Okay, so Fiddler is here. I'm going to clear everything from Fiddler. Now remember one thing, Rumi, here. This application is locally hosted, right? This application, it is not in the internet. This is locally hosted. This application is locally hosted. Now this application that we are going to record, it is locally hosted. So it will automatically be proxied through Fiddler. But if you are testing an application from internet, if you want to proxy it through Fiddler, you will have to go to runtime settings. Remember this statement, you will need it for manual correlation, and you will have to do that in some other application. So it is important you remember this. If you click on proxy, if you want to proxy it through Fiddler, you will have to come here, and then you will have to do here 127.0.0.1, and then you will have to put here 888, and then you will have to select use both. Okay, now if you want to do recording in an application from internet rather than locally hosted, and you want to proxy everything through Fiddler, then you will have to do that. Remember 127.0.0.1 and then 888 is the port number. But this application, as it is a, yeah, I'm recording. I'm recording here, but again let me repeat here. If you are testing an application that is in the internet, and you want to, when you are recording, you want to proxy through Fiddler, then you will have to set up this 127.0.0.1. okay, now as this application is locally hosted, I'm going to select no proxy. Okay, and here I'm going to clear everything from Fiddler before I start recording, because I do not want to keep anything in Fiddler. Now if you come here and go to your recording options, and actually if you click on record, if you start recording, let me start recording, and what it will do, it will bring that application, web tour application. Okay, now some of the requests you do not need it. I will be deleting those requests. Now that is where, you know, can you see new tours demo IoT? It is starting actually new tour application instead of the application that we want to start. Let me see which application it brought. Can you see it brought a different application, right? So I'll have to stop recording to see why it is bringing. I want to record on 127 why it is bringing that web page. Yeah, why it is bringing that web page, because I do not want to record on this one. I want to record on the locally hosted application. Okay, now let me go there. First of all, let me go to runtime settings and remove it is I want no proxy, and then if I go to here, can you see I still have that URL, right? Now let me go there, let me close this, let me go to Fiddler and let me remove everything, and then let me go to my script itself. Let me start recording. Let me see what it brings now. Okay, now Now it is bringing the right side, right? So these, now let's go to Fiddler here. So these requests we got for what? For opening application. Opening application. Then let me do, so this is, if you see something is not, host is not 127, those are extra request is coming from some other application. Probably we have Skype here. From Skype there are some requests going on. I will be removing them manually. Okay, I will be removing them manually. Now I am going to do a login here. Okay, so before I do a login, I will be creating a transaction. Let's say 02 login. Okay, 02 login, and click OK. Now you come here. So I know I have a user called automate code 1. Actually, automate code 1 or what? Let me do auto 1 01. And what is the password? Let's say my password is L12345. Okay, and then click on login. So it was able to log in, right? Now let me go to Fiddler. Now I know these are extra requests. I'm going to remove them, and I know these 127, all the requests from 127, they have come from which transaction? Login. Is it clear? This transaction that proxied here in Fiddler, they came from which transaction? For login. Do you understand? Let me know if you have any question. You might have question. If you have any question, ask me. Yeah, can you see, like, I have some transaction from opening application in the Fiddler, and I have some transaction from login. Can you see them? Are you having issue? Okay, so do you understand, like, how I get this request in Fiddler? So what is your understanding so far? Yeah, could you hear me? Can you see my screen? Now can you see that I have two set of transaction? One set of transaction is from login, another set of transaction is from opening application. Okay, now let me stop recording here. Okay, I stopped recording, and then I'm not going to do any automatic correlation. I'm going to close it, and now this Fiddler, right, I'm going to stop capturing. Okay, now let me go to the script. So here these transactions are from opening application, right? Open app, and opening application transaction finished where? Here, right? Can you see my screen? Open application is ended here. Now if you take a look here, if I execute this script, will it pass? Mhm. Yeah, I'm executing it. So it seems it is passing, right? Let me see. So we are using user ID and password, and um, it is passing. But the reason it is passing, can you see if there is any checkpoint here? Do you have any checkpoint? Why there is no checkpoint? Is there any answer? Average find, right? If you go to recording option, if you come here code generation, no code generation, if you come actually in advanced part, there is no average find. So I checked it now. Now how will you bring that average find? Will you record again? How will you bring it? You can add the average find manually, right? Yeah, but can you see that regeneration? You click on that regeneration icon, and then strip will be regenerated with average find. Okay. Now take a look one thing here, Ruben. If you go to that application, when your login is successful, what do you get? Welcome to the web tours reservation pages, right? You got that welcome text, right? If your login is successful, what do you get from the server? Welcome. So I'm sending the login request here. I'm sending the login request here. So before I send that login request, I'm going to put welcome. Look for welcome. Okay. So when login is successful, when I got that welcome, when login is successful. If login is not successful, will I get that welcome? No. Now when you open the application, okay, when you open the application, what you get? You get welcome to the web tour site, right? You got it. Or you can say, let's put some distinctive text. Let's say to make reservation. Okay, I'm going to make this one as a checkpoint. If you go there, so when you open the application, then you are looking for this checkpoint, right? Let me execute it now. Can you see here? Now in line number 26, it is failing. I'm double clicking on it, so it is failing in login, right? In login it is failing. If you go to runtime viewer, what it is saying? So it is for this correlation, this dynamic value. Every time you log in, it will be a dynamic value, right? So we need to correlate this value. What does this correlate mean? Correlate means this value is generated in a previous request. Like when you submit a previous request, from the response this value is generated, and when you are logging in, it is using that dynamic value. So every time you log in, it is a dynamic value, correct? So first thing that I'm going to do, while like for our first login, this is the original dynamic value, right? Now I'm going to remember, you have a fiddler trace, okay? Your fiddler trace, in your fiddler trace Can you see? You have open application and login. If you press Ctrl F and if you look for that value, and let's say where we are going to look, let me look at in this way. Can you see where we have it? In two places. We have it in opening application and we have it in login. Right. Now in opening application, if you take a look, let's go to response. So this is the, like, when you submit the login request, you are getting some response. When you submit the open application request, you get some response. So this is one of the response. This is the request. So in the request, if you look for that value, can you see? You are getting that value. Yeah, you are it is. So can you see, in opening application you are getting that value? Is that correct? When you open the application, in one of the response you are getting that session ID in the response. What? Remember what I am saying here. Manual correlation, the fundamental concept here. When you do manual correlation, this value you are using here for login, but this value, when it is needed to be correlated, this value is coming, this value is produced in a previous request. So what does this mean? So it means when you are opening application, what is the previous request here? The previous request is opening application, right? When you are opening application, if you look at Fiddler, these are the calls those happened. Okay. Now in one of the request, can you see, in one of the in opening application, in one of the request, if you look at the response, like this is the request that we are sending to the server, and these are the response that we are getting from the server. These are the response that we are getting from the server. Now in the response itself, if you look at value, can you see here in the response we have this value in the response, right? Yeah. When you open the application, every time you open application, it generates a new session ID, and every time you log in, so when you open the application, whatever session ID it is generating, it is going to use the same session ID. So every time it will be generating a dynamic session ID in opening application, and while logging in it will be using that session ID. Yeah, this session ID generates in the opening application, and when you log in you will have to use that session ID. Okay. Now when we record the script, this was the session ID. Now every time you execute the script, it is generating a new session ID. You got it? So this session ID, another will come. So how will you make your login? Like this is a script, you will have to put, every time you are running it, you will have to give a valid session ID. How will you do that? You will have to remember, yeah, you will have to capture it when you open the application. You will have to capture that value, and then you can use it. Now yeah, you'll have to capture not from fiddler, you'll have to capture it from in your script. Now can you see this value when it is generating in opening application, right? Now this is the value, right? Let me make it a little bit bigger here. So this is the value. Now what is the left boundary? Can you see? This is the left boundary, right? Left boundary means before that value, like if I look for value, okay, if I look for value equal to, let me see, where does it take you? Let's say I'm looking, if I search by value, it take me here, right? Can you see it take me here on that session ID? Now I will be using this one as my left boundary, okay, and what will be my right boundary? My right boundary will be this one, okay. So this is my left boundary. Let me go to my script. So if you come here in opening, so this is my opening application, is that correct? So in opening application I'm going to right click here and I'm going to insert a new step, and then I'm going to put WebRes save. Remember, for correlation it is not WebRes find, it is WebRes save. Now let's say as session ID. Put the left boundary. What is your right boundary? This is your right boundary. This is your right boundary. Let me go to script. This is your right boundary, okay. Now click OK. Now if you execute it, let me execute it now. So it is still failing, but was it able to capture any value? Can we see any value? So yeah, for the value, but like, can you see in the log, can you see any value at all? No. So to see what is capturing, you will have to go to log and you will have to select extended log parameter substitution, right, and save it. Now you execute it. Okay, now still I know it is failing, but let's see if it was. Can you see session ID? It has captured this value, right? What is the difference between the initial value and this one? Let's come here. So what was the initial value? The initial value was this one, right? So the initial value was, let me put a comment here. So what is the difference between the initial value and this one? Is it same? It is not same, right? So each time it is generating a dynamic value. So we were able to capture that value where, if you double click on it, we are capturing this value in line number 14 when we are opening application, right? Can you see? Now when we are capturing that value, we are saving it in this parameter, right? Now I am going to use this value when I am logging in. So instead of this value, I am going to replace that dynamic value here. Okay, now if now when we are logging in, then we are using that value that we captured while opening application we are using that value in login when we are submitting that request. Okay, now if we execute it, okay, you will see your script will not fail anymore. Because we have captured a right session ID while opening application, and then we have used that session ID while we are logging in. Okay, and you can see here we have put left boundary, right boundary to capture this session ID that is being generated. Can you see what is the session ID? Can you see this session ID? This time we got this session ID, right? Now let's go to Fiddler. So if you look for Control F and if you look for where is that session ID generated, can you see this session ID is generated here while opening application? Can you see that session ID is here, and then when you are logging in you are using that session ID. Understand? Yeah. Oh, okay. See, every time you open application, it will generate a dynamic session ID. That session ID you will have to use it while you are logging in the script. So when you are opening application, the application is generating that dynamic session ID, and then when you are submitting the login request, you will have to use that session ID that is generated in the login, that is generated in the opening application. No, that's fine. Go ahead. You need to clear your understanding about this. Yeah. It is, let me take a look here. Let me remove everything. So this fiddler trace we got it from when we record the script. So this was captured on that time, right? Now you can see that we got a yeah, it is when you are running it is actually we are running it one more time. So every time you run it will be the session ID will be different. See, so these requests are from the recording. Now I am going to run the script. Okay, and for my this running it will be you will see there will be some here, right? Can you see some new? Can you see these requests, right? So they are from execution when we execute it, right? Session ID, yeah. Manual correlation. And in manual correlation you saw that how I put left boundary and right boundary. Yeah. So is it like, it seems like you understand this? Okay, all right. So you do this manual correlation in the same application, and I'll be talking about this later on. Now regarding your let me stop recording here. I don't want to make this recording too much long. Now regarding your priority, okay, you are going